Okay, good morning, godlike savages and warm, inviting, feminine, empathetic women out there that may be watching this as well. So, what I want to talk about today in the Semen Retention Sunday episode here on the Regal Change account is why the habit that the devil fears the most is semen retention. Okay, and I went ahead and I put together, this small class that we'll be going through today. And this is really just going to provide a lot of information about testosterone and the gradual testosterone decline that we've been seeing over the past 20 to 50 years or so. And also my inquiry with ChatGPT about how if it were the devil, why would it want men not to be on semen retention? Right. And then I also have a couple sources that I want to check out as well that I have for you guys. So the thing is I really want to make sure that as we go through this information, this is going to provide you with something that is tangible that you can understand that would maybe inspire you to rethink why if you're on semen retention or not, why make it a lifestyle? This is something that I'm over 3 years into it now on semen retention, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I am not the same man that I was 3 years ago. There are a lot of challenges that I've had to go through, but I'm so grateful for all of the challenges. I'm grateful for the temptations that I've had to endure. I'm grateful that God has delivered me from the traps of the Jezebels and the narcissistic women. I haven't made a Jezebel video for quite a while, but anybody that doesn't know what a Jezebel is, it's essentially the Jezebel in the Bible. She was the only woman that wore makeup in the Bible, and she was also like a seductress whore, for lack of a better term. And she really was able to take down her husband and everything he built, and conspired against murdering kings and such. So it's a very evil kind of spirit, and I think a lot of women hold it, and it is possible for men to have this spirit as well, but I think it's less common. And the reason that I think it's less common is because, well, the thing is where if a man has a Jezebel spirit, he's going to be more feminine by nature. I think a lot of gay people have the Jezebel spirit. I think that's also why the gays have that like very specific archetype to them. It's whereas with men, even the most masculine men, yeah, they have that kind of rugged and uh, rough aura about them, but man, it's almost like at least the men that are men, they have their own individuality. A lot of gay people don't. At least that's just something I noticed. And so anyway, without further ado, I asked ChatGPT if it were the devil, why wouldn't it want men on semen retention? And it said, if my whole mission was to weaken men, it would be to drain their drive and keep them distracted. Okay. Semen retention would be the last thing that the devil would want men practicing. And why? Well, because it builds self control, number one. Okay. The same discipline that can be used to resist temptations in other areas can also make men harder to manipulate. Okay. So the more you build self control, the harder it is to manipulate you. The more grounded you are in your self mastery, the easier it is to have a foundation in which you can protect yourself from these demonic entities and spirits that want to keep you in lust. Okay, number two is it preserves life force and drive. Okay, traditions view sexual energy as creative, ambitious energy. And this is true across the board, right? Without constantly depleting it, men often have more vitality, mental clarity, and motivation. Now, I personally don't believe in motivation. This is just me. I believe in inspiration, but I don't really believe in motivation, because motivation, when I say that, it's not that I don't think that motivation doesn't exist. It's that I don't think that it's a relative uh, point of origin to gather data, or to gather this ability to act and to take action. Okay, I just don't believe it. I don't buy it. And this is something that I talk about also in the book of Oldishness. This is my new book that came out just a week or so ago. That's something I talk about in there as well. And they want, like, the devil wants you in a passive, complacent state, right? This is exactly what it says here. The devil fears you being clear and creative and energetic and ambitious and virile. Why? Because then you can't be controlled. It's all about control. It's all about control. Okay, that's all that it is. The devil wants control, but if you have self-control, then yeah, nobody else can deceive you in a way. Or at least if they deceive you, you know how to get yourself back to where you need to be. It strengthens confidence and presence. A man with strong sexual discipline radiates a different kind of energy. This is the glow. Okay, this is the glow that we talk about on the channel with celibacy and all of that. This is the glow in general of what people go through and how people go through things when it comes to just having that aura of emanating life itself. That's exactly what that is. So when you're steady, focused, and you're harder to intimidate, that confidence is dangerous to a manipulator. The best kind of manipulators that I've ever seen, make it seem like they don't want to manipulate you and that they're actually trustworthy. They'll share stories about themselves that are sometimes even fake, and they don't want you to know that. Like, recently, there was something going on with me and a person that had reached out to me via email or via X, and we had talked back and forth for a while. And this person, through time, I started to realize that this person was not real. Like, even though we had had conversations like on FaceTime and such, like video messaging, I realized that this person was a construct. Okay, this person had a characterized construct. The person that's like themselves was real, but they were actually like a constructed character. And I genuinely believe that this person had asked AI how to get close to me so that it can learn how to, move me in certain directions. Because after a while, it was like so incremental, this kind of manipulation, that I started to finally notice a little bit, it was just so sophisticated. It was so subtle, and I genuinely believe that this person was highly trained. Like, it felt as if the CIA was after me. That's kind of what it felt like, as far as like the level of like government involvement. I don't know if that's the case, but I do genuinely think that there was this person was using AI to try to manipulate me. So having this kind of confidence and presence about you, you don't want to be pathological, right? Because this is something that I talked about a little bit yesterday in the man with the dangerous nonchalant confidence. You don't want to be too pathological in your confidence, but you don't want to have low self-worth either. Okay, there's this fullness of confidence that you want to have. And yeah, if you're a threat to the system, or influences that rely on men being aimless, because this is another thing that they want. They want you being aimless. They don't want you to have a purpose. They don't want you to have an understanding of who it is that you are. Why would they? Why would they want you to have a grip on reality as a man, especially in modern day times, because we do live in a matriarchy. Okay, make no mistake about it. A lot of people say, "Oh, screw the patriarchy." Okay, that's my feminine or feminist voice, right? Like, through the patriarchy. That's how I hear them anyway. Um, and they want you aimless. They want you to be stuck. They want you so focused on nothing, on just the lust itself, that they can't get you beyond that. And you'll see, like, even on X and YouTube, there's a lot of these dating gurus and dating people that are like, you have to lead with sex first. You have to lead with sex first. And it's like, I understand what they're saying, but at the same time, that's not going to help the situation that we're in. Okay, the situation that we're in our society is like, well, exactly like this. It's corn, casual sex, infidelity, and fantasy. They want you stuck in these things, and this constant, like, oh well, if you want to have a woman, you first have to have sex with her. It's like, I get what you're saying. I do, because I understand how women work and how women operate. I understand female nature. However, at the same time, that's not going to help the situation that we're in. It's just not. Like, if you are a man who complains about all of the hoes in society, because if you want to complain about hoflation, right? And yet you're participating in those same degenerate behaviors of just trying to have sex as soon as possible with a woman to try to get her hooked. How do you think you're helping society with that? And how do you think you're helping yourself? Because you're not. Okay, it's just a fact that you're not helping. You're not helping any situation or anybody in the situation. Okay, so lust is one of the potent tools for controlling men. And so, in short, if ChatGPT was the devil, they'd want men leaking energy, chasing lust, and never developing mastery over themselves. Okay, this is why I have the Godlike Mastery Initiation Program. Okay, this is why I do that, and this is why I have general one-on-one mentorship calls. Is so that people that, whatever they're going through in life, but specifically, like, and spirituality wise, uh, but also with lust and such, they have a system in which they can go back to. Like, last week, I introduced the 444 Sacred Seed system that was available for free for a few days there, and it's now just in the Regal Change Academy. Which, this, by the way, this is obviously the Regal Change Academy, and so you'll see here that this is, like, the layout of the Regal Change Academy and what's in the Regal Change Academy. And this class I've devoted specifically for, these new YouTube videos and these new type of YouTube videos that I'll be experimenting with for the next little bit. But yeah, I mean, this is where people want you, though. Like, the devil wants you, and the people that the devil has captured, uh because you're either a father, like, your father is either Jesus Christ and God, or it's the devil. And I know people say, well, that's so black and white, and, well, I don't believe in that. Well, okay, then you can say that your father is either goodness and justice and truth, or you can say that your father is lies, because the devil is the father of lies and manipulation and deceit. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about testosterone. Okay, because this is going to be really important as well. So, testosterone, men with high testosterone have the ability to focus. They have a normal mood, normal energy, a healthier heart, increased muscle mass, less body fat. Okay, and then a man with low testosterone, you can see, like, the silhouette here and the difference. Has a low libido, depression or lack of focus, constant fatigue, decreased muscle mass. I thought this was funny, the man boobs, because it's true, though. Increased abdominal fat, okay, as well. Like, this is something also where if you hold, like, a lot of cortisol in your body, uh, the first place that it usually goes is your belly. And the reason being, because cortisol is like a stress hormone, right? So the reason being is because your belly, like if you want to think about it spiritually, there is a practical side to this. There's also like a spiritual side to it. Well, the belly is the point of origin in which you connect to God, right? The belly is the point of origin in which you have a full understanding and a full connection to God Himself. And so if you're stressed, the more stressed you are, the more your connection is disrupted between you and God. And this is exactly, what we were talking about here is the confidence, because your confidence comes from your belly area, right? Like a lot of people, I'm sure you've heard the saying, like, say it with your chest. But also, when you're breathing, like you breathing into the belly can actually change your brain waves and the way that your neurology is behaving. So that's something to consider as well. And I think that a lot of people just don't understand, especially men. They think that like going on semen retention and then continuing these other behaviors is going to just, magically change. Like they're not going to have to change the way that they eat, or they're not going to have to change their workout. Like a lot of men are also hyper aggressive sometimes when it comes to semen retention. Like I've had guys tell me, how do you deal with excessive anger on semen retention? It's like, well, the way that you deal with excessive anger is you apply it. Like there's a reason you have that anger in you. Okay, number one, it's the testosterone levels raising. But number two is there's probably things that you want to be doing, or that you have done, or that you want to be doing that you're not doing. And this is your body's way of saying, like, because the body always, like, the body's never wrong when it says it, like, it keeps score, like the body never forgets, right? That's entirely true. Okay, you have to listen to your body. You have to listen to what's happening. You have to listen to why are you angry? Okay, just ask yourself, well, why am I angry? And if you really just allow yourself to conjure the answer, like to just allow your subconscious to like be confronted and just ask your subconscious, why am I angry? I bet you'd be surprised how quickly an answer will come. Okay, because it will come. It will happen. And you just have to allow it to happen, accept it. Okay. Now I put this quote here from Andrew Huberman, who is one of I wouldn't call him like an influencer, but he is, but he's also a scientist, right? So, and I think he's one of the most, uh, not just renowned scientists, but also one of the most realistic, and grounded in actual science. He's not woo woo, but he's also aware of the spiritual side of things and how things work like that. So I think that's kind of cool. But yes, this is exactly right. Testosterone makes effort feel good. Okay, this is one of the other reasons why you might be angry. You want to actually go out there and get things done. You actually want to go out there and do something about your life. Okay? And you might not realize it, but being a little bit aggressive and a little bit more assertive is actually normal for men. Okay? It's not to say that you should be aggressive or that you should be like, trying to start fights or anything, but it's like it's kind of just the way that it is for a man. Like think about this, right? If you see two, I don't know, lions or tigers approaching each other in the wild, and they're both male, the first thing that they're going to do is to kind of like test the water to see like what is he up to? What does he want? You're kind of like testing and vetting each other. It's not a oh hey buddy, how's it going? Like no, it's like a all right, are we gonna fight, or what are we gonna do here? What are we gonna like? You're kind of vetting the energy, or at least the lions or the tigers or whatever it is. They're kind of vetting the energy of the other being, right? So that's kind of the way that it is. Like, it's normal for us humans to be like that too. Okay. But it's also normal for us to be calm and cool and collected in that as well. So now we're getting to the testosterone levels. So healthy levels of testosterone typically range from 300 to 1,000 nanograms in a male. Okay, now if you look here, I was hoping that it would expand a little bit more than it is. But anyway, in 1987 to 1989, okay, the median total testosterone was about 501. Okay, that was about the average. In 2002 to 2005, it was 391. So just within 15 years, the average testosterone level for men went down over 100 nanograms. Take that in for a second. Now, ever since then, the testosterone levels have gradually dropped about 1.2% per year. Okay? That's the average testosterone levels from 20 years ago to today, and even longer than that. They've been dropping since like 1987, according to this here, right? Gradually decreasing 1.2% per year. Now, this has a lot to do with a lot of different kinds of factors. Okay, so these are like secular trends, or simply men just not, like, they're just too stressed, or they're too contained. They're too caught up in a cage. Like, everybody knows, most people know Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here" lyrics. It's like, did you exchange? Man, what is the lyrics now? Actually, "Wish you were here." I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I think you can. But yeah, while this loads for the second, basically it goes like, did you exchange something? I don't know why it's not loading now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to this homepage here. Hopefully the video is okay. But anyway, the point is that you were locked in a cage, and you traded being in a cage for being on the front lines of war, basically. And instead of trying to actually fight for something, you just allowed yourself to be locked away. That's the kind of the whole point, right? I don't know why I can't remember the lyrics off the top of my head right now, but anyway, the point is that's a good song, and the lyrics are on point. So across all different ages, the decline has also averaged around 1% per year, which is significantly decreasing the amount of testosterone in more recent generations than ever. So there are a lot of different kinds of causes, right, in secular trends, like obesity or chronic illnesses or diseases, lifestyle shifts, for example, like environmental exposures, like the microplastics. I know a lot of guys in the Regal Change Academy, for example, have like completely let go of seed oils and microplastics. Like, they don't use anything plastic. Okay, they don't use anything plastic in here because, well, why would they? Because it can actually, damage your testosterone levels. And it's interesting why that is, right? Like, think about just the spiritual undertone of these things. Anything, because plastic is basically man-made, right? And so it's funny how all that is natural enhances mankind's manliness, I guess you could say. Whereas, and just natural hormones. Whereas anything that's not natural but is made through natural things that are becoming like, because all of these things, like, where does it come from, right? All of these plastics, like, it comes from nature, but it's curated in a way where it's just genetically modified. Like genetically modified foods, for example, is a big thing too. Is like we're just messing with the whole trend of the nature's system. So this is also linked to the testosterone reductions, and it doesn't really fully explain the observed generational drop though. But I think my hypothesis, as far as I'm concerned, is we're just in the weak men create hard times era, and we're also in the weak men of these corporations and systems and in industries and the institutions that we're supposed to rely on. They're only about the buck now. They only want the money. That's all they care about. They want the dollar. They want that extra dollar. Whatever they can do to save a dollar, that's what they're going to do. And it's unfortunate. I understand that, I'm a businessman myself. I understand what that means. But at the same time, like, if you're going to sacrifice the health of like the society for the sake of your money, like, man, that's some really selfish, evil stuff. And that's like the whole point of this, right? The devil doesn't want you to be awake. The devil doesn't want you to be, because once you change your lifestyle, specifically when it comes to your sexuality, and when you change like how you express that, it's going to naturally change how you live your life. So there's a lot of mixed findings as well. So some research suggests that testosterone remains relatively stable after age 40 in otherwise healthy men, with increases in variability rather than mean declines as men age. But I think that that's actually not the case. I've seen a lot of men, though, that they don't participate in these like the healthy men that are lifting weights, that are taking care of their nutrition. They're a lot less stressed in their life, or at least they know how to utilize stress to improve their adrenaline and whatnot. That's another thing, okay, that they know how to do that a lot of men don't. They don't know how to use stress and anxiousness or depression for fuel. And I don't really believe in anxiousness or depression. When I say like anxiousness or depression, I believe I know that I know what people are talking about, but again, I think it's just better to not give it power to you, right? Like not let something abstract have a kind of influence on you that's going to suggest how you live your life in such a way that this idea completely captures your soul. Okay? Because a lot of people they're stuck in the idea that these things are happening. Okay? So I want to show you this as well. Hopefully, okay, yeah, we've still got the video. So what they showed here is that a 60-year-old man in 2004 had testosterone levels 17% lower than those of a 60-year-old in 1987. And that was a study of Danish men, right? So that was pretty crazy. And then in this here, testosterone being the primary sex hormone, it is important for maintaining bone and muscle mass through life. Insufficient levels of testosterone have been linked to diabetes, low libido, and other medical conditions. Okay, that's kind of crazy to think about. It's kind of insane to think about how testosterone really plays a factor in men's lives more so than anything else. And this is exactly why the devil doesn't want you to be on semen retention. Okay. So I hope that this video was useful and insightful and informative. I like this kind of format, but at the same time, I want to hear your feedback. I want to know what you think. I want to know, what are your testosterone levels? Have you ever gotten tested for your testosterone? I personally have not gotten tested for my testosterone, like with blood work or anything like that. I don't even know exactly like how they take the testosterone levels, like what that process is like. But I know my testosterone levels are higher than they were 3 years ago, without a shadow of a doubt. I just know that because it's just, I'm more of myself now than I am more than I ever was. And even though like my spirit is everlasting and my body is constantly decaying, right? Like every single second our body grows older, we're closer to death. And that's just a fact. But also, like, that doesn't mean that you can't be healthy and stay healthy throughout that time. All right. So I hope this video was useful and insightful for you. I hope that everybody has a blessed rest of your day. Peace be with you. And until next time.